My village is close to the border with China. In the past, it was very poor, and with only a dozen houses, it was quite pitiful. I lived in the poorest house. Besides me, there were my uncle and aunt. They weren't my biological parents, but they took me in and raised me since I was little. That's a story for another time. The security situation back then was very complicated, with smuggling, drug trafficking, human trafficking, etc., happening frequently. That year, after finishing 10th grade at the provincial boarding school, I was on summer break when my aunt messaged me that I didn't need to come home anymore. She had some business in the province and would pick me up. From my village to the province is more than 60 kilometers. I waited for my aunt at the school gate until 5 p.m. After that, I saw her being driven down by a man on a Minx motorcycle. We went to a faux shop to eat, and then my aunt said, "You're grown up now, during the summer break, help me carry goods from China to Vietnam. They pay a few $100,000 for each trip." After I heard that, I didn't think at all and just agreed right away. The minibus driver was named Hung. He introduced himself as someone who specializes in recruiting porters to carry goods. The three of us took a forest path to cross the border into China. Halfway there, we encountered two Chinese people waiting for us. Uncle Hung and my aunt talked to them for a while, then my aunt pulled me aside to a corner, looking teary-eyed, and said, "At this point, I can't hide it from you anymore. You and I were deceived in the countryside and are in debt, so I have to sell you to get money to pay off the debt. These two people are buying you to work on their farm. They won't make you do anything bad. Just work hard, and when the time is right, you can come back to visit us later." Then my aunt handed me a bag of clothes, toothpaste, a toothbrush, and a washcloth. At that time, I had already crossed over a few times to carry goods and had interacted with people there quite a bit, so this wasn't a big deal for me. In that situation, I didn't know what else to do, so I told my aunt to go home and not to worry about me. Then I followed those two Chinese people, feeling relieved as if I had repaid the debt of nurturing to my uncle and aunt. Little did I know that ahead of me were 7 bitter years away from my homeland, and it was also the place where I would go to prison for the first time.